Most Etsy sellers fail because what they expect it to take versus what it actually takes don't match. In their mind, they're doing all of the right things. But in reality, they're missing huge pieces of the puzzle to actually make the whole engine of their business work. The problem is that the clarity normally comes on the other side of actually making it work. And it's not like you have a boss or someone standing over your shoulder being like, you're off track, move here, do that, change this. It's kind of like when you're trying to learn how to ski or snowboard for the first time. Like, you really don't get it until you just do it. So that is why in this video, I'm going to give you 10 years of entrepreneurship on Etsy in hopefully less than 15 minutes. And I'm going to share with you exactly what most Etsy sellers never experience because they prematurely quit. And it's not even really their fault. You just don't know what you don't know when you're first starting out. And that is why you should watch this video. There is 6 phases that most all Etsy entrepreneurs face. And if not one, most likely all of these will resonate with you at some point in your journey. And after you watch this video, you might feel like, oh, wait a second, I've been on the right track the whole time. But that anxiety usually comes from just not knowing because, again, you just don't know what to expect. So let's get into it. Phase number 1 is called information overload. This is a very important phase. This is when you discovered the opportunity of Etsy and you are just going to town learning every single thing that you can learn about how to start an Etsy business. You're watching YouTube videos, maybe investing in courses or coaches, getting in groups. You are just consuming a bunch of information like you went to college for a second time. This is really your freshman phase of business because you are just very vulnerable. You're super, super excited. So you are at an all-time high of motivation and ready to jump in and start this business. You see the opportunity. At this stage, you are learning that an Etsy business is not one size fits all. There are different models of selling on Etsy. You learn about digital products, print-on-demand products, how to sell physical products, and you are just gathering all of that information about how you can enter this space called Etsy. At this phase, you're probably also a little bit scared and maybe even embarrassed to tell your friends, tell your family, and this might even be paralyzing you a little bit from taking the next phase, going into the next phase, which is actually going to market. So if you're here, just know that if you want to be an entrepreneur or if you want to start a business, people are eventually going to find out. And don't wait until you are a success. People that are going to stand by you, that really support you, are going to stand by you from the beginning, right? Unfortunately, the nature of starting a business for the first time is you're doing something in a space or an environment where you probably don't have a lot of other people that are doing it. And so it feels scary or maybe even a little bit embarrassing to veer off a track that no one else is doing. The thing to note here is that every single entrepreneur goes through this step, right? Everyone has that insecurity, fear, doubt of people judging them or whatever when they first start. It's scary, right? Are people going to judge me? They're going to think, who am I to own a business, right? But all of that is just a noise. Like I said, the people that are going to support you are going to support you from the beginning. And then once you are successful, people are going to come out of the woodworks and want to say that they supported you from the very beginning, which that's not true. They're probably talking crap about you behind your back. I used to feel like that when I was younger, but it's nothing to get upset over. If anything, it's just a big thank you to yourself for betting on you, which is a huge thing to do. And it invokes a lot of growth that you never would ever experience by just having a job. And that is very scary for a lot of people. So it takes a lot of courage. Congratulate yourself. So phase number 1 can last anywhere from 30 days if you're really consuming information really fast up to 2 years. I've watched people dip their toes in the sand for up to 2 years where they've just been researching but not actually opening a shop. So in phase 1, you have not opened your shop yet. Phase number 2, you go to market, you've opened your shop, and crickets. Now, there's normally a huge mistake that happens here, but you don't know because, again, you just put your shoes on for the first time, so it's normal. And it's exactly what I pointed out. You're doing everything at one time. So you're doing digital products and print on demand. You're targeting teachers and dog lovers. You're doing everything, mugs and wall art. While some coaches actually say to do this as a strategy, I don't really agree. It's kind of like if your goal is to climb this mountain, throwing spaghetti at the wall is kind of like, before I even get to the mountain, let me just like do a bunch of zigzags and then try to figure out how to climb the mountain with that strategy. Whereas if you get hyper targeted and hyper focused with one product, one customer avatar with one strategy, right? You're at least going more of in a linear direction towards one singular target. Maybe even giving yourself analysis paralysis because you don't really know what to focus on or what's working or what's not working. So if you're somebody in this phase, I really, really recommend to narrow down everything based off of all of that previous information that you consumed. Pick what you think is best fit for you. So if you want to do digital products, focus on only digital products, focusing one type of customer. So a B2B business, digital download template business, right? Or a wedding invite business. It doesn't mean that you can't add more products later. If you are doing research and you are finding proven listings, you can also compete with those proven listings. So if you just keep switching, you're not actually giving yourself a fair shot at perfecting that one product that is proven. You're just switching to another one prematurely. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this in number 3. So again, in number 2, you're just doing a lot. And in a way, I'm almost saying do less. Do less and get focused on one customer, one product type. So if you are doing print on demand tops, so in some exceptional cases, right? So like in print on demand, you can do shirts and sweaters and hoodies. I would consider that all one product type because it all can live in one listing. But if it doesn't make sense to live in one listing, like I wouldn't do a shirt and a mug in the same listing. Like that's 2 different product types. Again, it doesn't mean you can't do all of them eventually. You just want to gain momentum in one first. So number 3 is the panic phase because your listings still suck. Phase 2 is around, it could go from anywhere from 30 days to 120 days from the date that you open your shop. Phase number 3 is like, okay, this has been 3 months and I'm not seeing any results that I want. And you panic because you think everything is broken and you start diving into Facebook groups, going to Reddit forums, trying to figure out if everyone's sales down, if this is all a scam, if this is even real. But the reality is your listings still suck. That's just the truth. You have to remember that you are competing against people that have been doing this for a lot longer than you. It doesn't mean that you can't become good at it and win and become a top seller. It's just that's the reality, right? So if you're 3 months in and you're not getting regular daily sales, there is just a gap between a skill set that you haven't learned yet. And a lot of times that mastery is because in phase number 1, you were just doing too many things and you weren't getting focused to really master one product with one customer in one niche. So I was actually just on a coaching call earlier talking about this with one of my students. Okay, so what is my recommendation here? My recommendation here is if you're doing product research and you find a proven listing, so you find a listing that has a 20 added carts badge or 10 purchases in the last 24 hours, and say it's just a simple listing like this one, and you want to go after the same saying and maybe change up the little graphic. If yours same saying doesn't become a bestseller or a one with sales, that means that you are doing something wrong in the listing. And people will argue keywords, but even if you go one-to-one with all the same keywords in the title, it's not your keywords. It's something in the listing that you're not doing. It's the mock-up choice, it's the lighting in the mock-up, it's the position of the mock-up in the thumbnail, it's the fonts that you're actually using, it's something with the actual product itself. My recommendation is do not give up on that design type until you make it work. Do not quit. Now, it doesn't mean that it necessarily has to get a 20 under cart badge and become a bestseller like the one, because maybe they just nailed the winning look for that specific design type, but get it to the point where it actually is making sales because you know it's proven. And so doing this process and not quitting and iterating on a single design is going to teach you what you did wrong previously. Especially with, lower ticket print on demand goods, you should see a sale in the first 30 days. If it's going to end up being a bestseller, unless it's seasonal. So keep iterating on that product until you get it to work. People go wrong here is, again, they just want to blame the world or Etsy or something other than the actual listing for their problem or their keywords. And 9 times out of 10, that's not it. It's just you haven't closed the gap of learning how to make listings that sell. Phase number 4 is called its working phase. So this is when you've got it. It's clicked. You are skiing down that mountain and you're not falling. You are excited. You understand how to make listings that sell, which is really, really great and a huge achievement once you get here. And normally people quit right at phase 3, so they don't actually get to phase 4. But if you make it to phase 4, you pretty much overcome the hardest part of entrepreneurship. Like I said, this phase is a huge milestone and you really should pat yourself on the back because, like I said, most people give up before they even get to this phase. Now, one thing that's very important to be wary of here, sometimes we think that the success is going to last forever. We think that all of the listings that we made are going to be evergreen and for 7 years to come, it's going to make me a bunch of money forever and ever and ever. But the most important thing to be wary of here is do not take your foot off the gas because a lot of times that's what people do and they just ride the wave and they stop doing the thing that makes the engine run, which is creating more products to sell. And it doesn't mean you have to go as hard as you did in the beginning, but you certainly should never stop. And you should pick a number of new product launches to do and stick to it consistently, whatever is realistic for you, as long as it doesn't just come to a halt, meaning you're just launching every other month instead of consistently month over month. Then phase number 5. Hopefully, because you watch this video, you don't ever experience number 5. But phase 5 is called wait, do I even know what I'm doing anymore phase. This phase is when what you used to do in the past isn't working anymore. So just posting listings in the same way and the same strategy that you did in the past isn't driving you results. So it's not growing your business. And I actually am experiencing this myself with my own Etsy shop right now. And actually on the same coaching call that we did this morning, one seller had a similar experience, right? Where she doesn't understand I'm posting really good designs, but it's not growing the business. It's just keeping it stagnant or it's actually going down. This is because in phase 4, you took your foot off the gas completely and you're just trying to ride the wave. So keep that in mind. A business that's not actively trying to grow is going down. There's no just like in the middle. It's one or the other in all businesses. It doesn't matter if it's Etsy. Now, with time, the strategies that used to work yesterday don't really work today. So in the case of my student today, she actually just had a couple of little tweaks, right? So she previously wasn't doing loss leader pricing, which is showing a cheaper price on the front end, and she wasn't doing it as aggressively as her competition. So that was like one thing that she needs to fix. Another thing is she would do one design and stop iterating on it, where really, if you have a proven design that's making you a lot of sales, you should reiterate on that same design 4 or 5 more times to explore that product or design opportunities potential, right? So she was kind of doing one and done. So she would do bachelorette cups or something and then just stop. Where it's like, well, if those bachelorette cups are doing well, then you should make 20 bachelorette cups, right? Not just 3 or 4, right? To really expand in that category. If something working, double down on it to take up more market share of those keywords. Because if you're not competing against yourself, you're competing against your competition. So I'd rather compete against myself than my competition. And so in phase 5, we start doubting ourselves. We're like, do we even know what we're doing? Do I even know how to run an Etsy shop anymore? And you start doubting everything. You go almost back to phase 2 and 3 again, where you're like, do I even know how to be an Etsy seller anymore? And like, what is going on? And it just means that the stakes got raised and you weren't following with the stakes getting raised, right? So you weren't iterating enough. You weren't doing competitive pricing strategies enough. And that is why it's so important to always keep tabs on your competition. That's just unfortunately what Etsy is. And that's why it's so important to be using tools like Profitry, where now you can actually track your competition daily. You can see how many sales they're doing daily. You can see how much demand listings are actually getting on the market. And that is why I built Profitry to actually help you make sales, make educated decisions, stop doing things at random. Now, phase 5, like I said with my student earlier that we talked to, a lot of it was just easy fixes, right? Iterating more on what's working, right? Doubling down, doing more aggressive pricing strategies than your competition, focusing on only those product opportunities that are proven. You can do creative things here and there. I would say do the 3-to-1 rule. 3 listings that are proven, 1 that you just make up, because sometimes the ones that you just make up, especially the ones after you know how to make proven listings. Sometimes you become the trend center. And also ads. If you are somebody at this space that knows how to make listings that sell and you have not tapped into Etsy ads yet, you have not even scratched the surface of traffic for your store. So I don't care what anyone says, Etsy ads and launching more listings to sell is the two ways that you win on Etsy, right? That is how you play the game of Etsy. Get your ads to the max, launch more listings to sell. Do not run ads if you don't know what to do or what your profit is. Don't even look at ads. Learn how to run ads first. I can link a ads training above in this video. Phase 5 is also where you get a little bit bored and you start thinking that the grass is greener somewhere else because what was easy for you before is not as easy as it was. You're experiencing that beginner insecurity again. But trust me, it's normal. Everyone goes through phase 5 at some point. And so if you actually come out of phase 5, which you can, as long as you don't give up, you just have to close the gap, the new gap that you haven't stayed up to date with. If you get onto the other side of phase 5, at phase 6, you have the aha phase. Aha, this is entrepreneurship phase. Phase 6 is when you realize that this is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is exactly what I just said. It's solving problems all the time, learning how to better yourself all the time. And that is why entrepreneurship breeds such a specific type of person, because you have to be very tenacious to want to go through all the highs, ups and downs, ups and downs. But when you stop treating the valleys like these dark holes of no coming back and just treating them as normal phases of entrepreneurship, you take the power away from those lower valleys and you can get back up to a peak a lot faster. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment down below if you got any value and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.